Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Redha Kirana Salsabila. I'm from class 8 to plus, and this video is made for ELT Curriculum final exam, in which I will answer some questions and also explain my understandings towards some of the topics. First, I would like to summarize and explain about 5 topics that I have learned from this class. The first one is Introduction to ELT. In ELT curriculum, it is essential for us to know about ELT itself and what it actually is, even if it's just a brief introduction. We learn about the historical context and theoretical underpinnings of ELT and its solid framework for navigating the complexities of language instruction. In this ELT curriculum course, the dynamic nature of language learning is emphasized, which leads to the teachers to adapt to the evolving needs of learners. The second one is Introduction to Curriculum History. Along with learning about the ins and outs of ELT, we learn about the history of curriculum and how it came to be what it is today. It might just be a brief introduction, mostly focusing on the progression throughout the years and how it is improved upon for each implementations to ensure that it keeps up on track with the changes in human society. The third one is curriculum design and lesson planning. As the course name implies, we learn about the step-by-step process on how to design a curriculum or a lesson. There are a lot of aspects that goes into one curriculum or lesson plan, such as finding out students' needs, wants, and lacks, setting clear goals and objectives, from choosing appropriate and fitting materials, and deciding on proper teaching methods to cater to students' diverse learning styles. The fourth one is language teaching methods. Since the course is about a foreign language, it goes without saying that there would be a need to learn about the appropriate methods of teaching the language. Along with the wants and needs of the students, it is necessary to know all of the possible methods and in teaching a language, what they are, the way they are applied in the classroom, their positives and negatives, and how effective they are when used in teaching learning process depending on the circumstances. The last but not least is the evolution of Indonesian curriculums. Throughout the years, curriculum in Indonesia have been changing quite a few times, and in this course, we learn about each new implementations and how there are always aspects that got improved upon in order to make the education system better and more fitting with the ever-changing needs on Indonesian education, especially in terms of VLT. Historically, there are a variant of methods used for teaching English, and for each new curriculums in Indonesia, there are different methods that have been used with their own weaknesses and strengths. From my understanding, the grammar translation and audiolingual methods share a common emphasis on accuracy in language learning. Both methods involve formal instruction, although for grammar translation method, it tends to focus on reading and writing through translation exercises and explicit grammar rules, while audiolingual method centers on oral proficiency through drills and repetition that is led by the teacher to the students. They both utilize the learner's native language as a reference point, although the usage is different. In grammar translation, it relies on the native language for explanations and translations, while audiolingual discourages the use of it in order for students to be more immersed in the language itself. As for clear differences, the grammar translation method is suited for developing strong reading and writing skills, which is useful and is often applied in studying classical literature or any kind of reading material that is a bit more complex. In contrast, the audiolingual method is more beneficial to learn basic conversational skills and oral proficiency, which is useful and fitting in scenarios like military language training or practical language use for travelers. Ultimately, the choice between these methods depends on the specific language learning goals and preferences. First and foremost, CLT aligns with the shift in language education philosophy, and emphasizing on communication as the primary goal of language learning. Its adaptability and compatibility with the evolving needs of learners contribute to its longevity. Other than that, CLT stands for so long because of its learner-centered approach. It places a strong emphasis on providing learners with opportunities to use the language in an authentic, real-life situation, which is related to the ability to use the language in practical context, which is seen as crucial. Since the 1980s, CLT has evolved in response to research findings and educational trends. It has incorporated aspects of task-based language teaching or TBLT, content-based instruction, and technology-enhanced learning. CLT also adapted to address the needs of specific learner populations, such as ASL learners and learners with different learning styles. It has embraced a more inclusive approach, and furthermore, the integration of technology in language teaching also influenced the development of CLT, such as using digital tools and online resources, which transcends traditional teaching learning situations. For this comparison, I choose to compare CLT and TBLT. Communicative language teaching or CLT and task-based language teaching or TBLT are two widely adapted English language teaching approaches, and both of them emphasize communication as a central goal and employing a student-centered approach. Similarities between the two methods include their focus on authentic communication and the encouragement of active learner participating through activities such as pair or group works. However, they differ in their core structures and language learning objectives. CLT, while prioritizing communication, encompasses a range of activities to improve overall communicative competence without a specific task-centered structure. On the other hand, just as the method name implies, TBLT specifically structures lessons around tasks that integrate language learning with problem solving, treating the language itself as a tool. TBLT is particularly effective when the goal is to develop specific language skills within the context of completing a task, making it useful and suitable for learners in situations like needing language proficiency for real-world situations that caters to their like personal needs. In contrast, CLT is more general in promoting overall communicative competence, which is suitable and useful in situations for when learners are aiming to function effectively in various English language contexts. I think that is all that I could explain in this video. I apologize for any shortcomings and the usage of any incorrect sentences or incorrect understanding towards the topic. Thank you so much for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.